Hey everyone, we're getting ready to push an update to the Sisu platform. This is 2.51.1 release. Primarily squashed a lot of bugs that our customers have brought to us, but in addition, we have added a couple really cool new features to this release. It's in anticipation to a really big release we have coming that we're working on. But I wanted to highlight these features for you and making sure that you mostly, our team leaders and their users are familiar with it. You should get a prompt at the top of the screen when we go live, and that will give you a link to this video, this help article, so you can get an idea of the changes that we've made. But first off, I kind of want to show team leaders some of the new features. Let me turn on my highlighter. So if you go into your admin section, your team settings, you can see we've made some changes. We've grouped forms and fields together, and you have, just as you typically would, your form screen that you see. So I'm just going to pull up a sample form here and kind of walk you through some of the new enhancements. You do see a new user interface here to move your fields up and down as far as how you want them placed in the form. But what you also notice is a nice new enhancement for required fields. So as you're aware, there are a number of fields that are required in a transaction form to make the system work as designed, as well as to save it and make the dashboards work. However, per form, you do now have the ability to make certain fields in that form required. This is a really nice new feature. Primarily, we've gotten a lot of feedback from our customers that you may, let's say you allow an agent to start working with a transaction coordinator once they get the transaction into the system. However, they may not always enter in all the required fields that you want. Now, your team admins and your TCs can really set those required fields that you want in the system per form, so that no data entry gets missed. So I'll highlight that. I added just a field, moved it up into this listing sign form as an example. In addition to, let me uncheck this for now. I also have a tooltip area that I can kind of let the end user know what is the use of this particular form. So I'll kind of walk you through a couple of those, and we'll circle back and I'll show you some of the other enhancements that we've added to it. So the listing sign form, if I come into transactions and I add a new client, you can see this listing sign form does have the additional required fields designated in black. So that's a nice feature. So you can kind of let the users know what fields are required, and I get a setting, set those. In addition, you can see just a nice tooltip at the top for your users so that you know exactly what the purpose of this design form is. Okay, moving on to the additional enhancement we've added to forms. I wanted to kind of show you a couple other nice features we've added to forms specifically for your users so that data entry gets put into the system accurately. We do allow now these forms to be edit only, meaning that they don't appear if you're coming into your transaction screen. Let's say initially it was entered in with all the key, let's say first name, last name, total transaction amount. That has all been entered in. But now, one of our great customers requested that now they would like the ability to, once they come into the transaction screen and they look at all their different transactions, they come in to hit edit. You can see as we hit edit, the listing sign form is available. But if we come back into transactions and we hit add new client, you can see that listing transaction form is not available in the ad list. So that's a really nice way just to allow for some data entry to occur and to maybe clean up your form list, in addition to only, maybe updating the form value or the values in the transaction form without presenting it to the user on the add transaction screen. Additional enhancements we've added to the form and field screen in Sisu is the ability now to segregate either between buyer or seller, so that form is only available between buyers and sellers. So another nice way to kind of clean up your the forms and to make sure that data entry is more accurate. We've made some changes to the income report as we continue to progress down, essentially providing a net income statement for your company dollar for your transactions itself. Specifically with the last enhancements we added of adding expenses into Sisu. We have a lot of CT customers moving across that want maybe a little bit easier way to manage their pure optics into the net income of their team. So with this release, we've also added a net income view at the top of your income report so that you quickly know your margins for your transactions. That's primarily the major enhancements we've added to this very mini release, the 2.1.1 release. As mentioned, we have a really big release coming up here shortly for goals and setting goals for your activities. I think you'll really like that. And then we're going to hop right into additional custom fields so that team admins can really create a lot of flexibility on creating additional custom fields that really give you even further flexibility when you come into your transaction screen and run custom reports. So we appreciate all your feedback with this short mini release and your continued partnership, and we look forward to working with you ongoing with each future release.